Time's up. I'm sorry. Keep repeating the miss.
We are live the best damn day of the week. Thank you for tuning in as you do each and every week. This is OSD, Obsessive Sneaker Disorder, episode 335. That's right. Know you got soul. I know you got soul. Man, first and foremost, a special happy birthday salute, man, to the one and only Mr. Rakim himself. Man, celebrating his birthday. This is January 28, 2015. The Northeast, yeah, if they said, they told you we were going to get slammed by some snow, we did. New York, you know what? They hit you with the... And the governor, you know what, called out all the stops, but don't worry, whatever didn't happen in snowfall in good old New York City or the state of New York, we got it here in New England. Yes, we got well over 34.5 inches of snow. So, yeah, let's just say, I was evoking Gucci Man, Jeezy, and all that, you know, all that, and then some. So, yes, Burr! Yeah, Burr is right. You know, that's why. You know why? This is exactly why I gotta wear the Virgin Islands hat, because listen, right about now, also all I'm thinking about is somewhere nice and warm, because I'm tired of this shit already, and it's early. It's early in 2015, and look at Kadoma. Kadoma's down in H-Town. Mr. H-Town Sneaker Summit himself. And, okay, Kadoma, please, just bear with me for a little bit. What's the temperature like right now in Houston?
And we had a 75-degree day today.
Okay, you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, see? That's not even fair. That's not even right. But, nonetheless, Mr. Kadoma, what's the good word? What's going on? What's coming up pretty soon?
What's up, D? What's up, Paper, Ridiculous, OSD, Cast and Crew, all the obsessive sneaker disorderlies around the world?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we've been worldwide. But we're just 2.5 weeks away from the All-Star Sneaker Summit, the 3rd annual All-Star Sneaker Summit, going down at the Altman Building, just 5 minutes from Madison Square Garden, where the big game will be played later that evening. It's going down in just 2.5 weeks. So if you're going to New York for the All-Star festivities and you're looking for something to do before you get into somewhere to watch the game, this is the place to be. Good to head over to sneakersummit.com. We got all the info there. And
Nice.
But you know what I'm here for, man. I'm here to get into some OSD, talk about some sneaker disorder.
Absolutely, man, oh man. And let's go straight from Houston, straight to the O, to the N, to the E. He is Ridiculous Creative is in the building. What's the good word, man?
Not much, man. Just working away, working as we speak, designing. Tonight on the show I'll be designing while we're talking. I actually got an offer from someone. For those people who don't think that social media is about business, I actually got an offer from a jeweler to create my second ring for nostalgia's sake from my national championship years. And so he said that if I could sketch out an idea, get some measurements, he would definitely be willing to help me out. So Alex Diamonds, Ashuri Jewelers, what's up? So I'll be sketching, modeled after my Big 8 championship ring from Nebraska.
Ooh, nice.
I'll be modeling and sketching during the show to make my national championship, my dual national championship ring. That's a little interesting fact for the evening.
Show. He can the national championship ring to show off.
Whatever, dude.
He's on Instagram doing exercises and high jumps and all kind of plyometrics. Now he's showing national championship rings.
I'm trying to get noticed by them stripes. You giving consortiums. I gotta get something going on for this to show off.
You're still a show off.
Nice. Well, straight from the O to the N to the E to Brooklyn, USA. No, actually, you know what? Let's keep it in Houston. Let's keep it in Houston. Mr. Adrian, Active Adrian's in the building. What's up, sir? What's the good word? Welcome to the show.
longer from H-Town. Well, I am from H-Town, but
Okay, I was gonna say, come on, you're money.
no longer located in H-Town.
No, where you moving? You leaving us?
Already here. I'm in Memphis 10.
Okay, all right. So Memphis, Tennessee,
Triple
where
six, triple six.
I was gonna say, man, you got music, you got barbecue, and lots of good partying going on.
You been to Beale Street yet?
Not yet. That's my
Oh,
first
get there.
week first, and then I'll start venturing out to the nightlife.
Congratulations, homie.
Thank you. I couldn't have done it without some of you guys backing me.
I know you were looking for a while, so upward mobility is always a good thing, even if it takes you out of where you're used to.
Yeah, I got I don't want to say lucky, but I stuck with it and finally got an opportunity that I wanted.
Nice.
Congratulations, man.
Word.
Congratulations. Cool.
We branching out, man. We taking over. That's what
Exactly.
we all over the country, all over the world.
Gotta expand sometimes,
Spreading that influence, spreading that disorder.
So, Paper, what's
Yes,
the good
sir.
word, man? Today was, as most of the Northeast dug out, the stock market was crazy. But what's up with you, man? How you been?
I am good, doing well. I just finished a really dope weekend of hosting the Adidas Originals Superstar sessions, both Saturday and Sunday at the Superstar Experience on 138 Worcester Street in New York City. I was teaching about the 45-year history of the Superstar. It was a packed house. Thank you guys. It was a packed house both days. 50 Saturday and Sunday at the Superstar Experience on 138 Worcester Street in New York City. Basically, I taught about the 45-year history of the Superstar. Shared a whole lot of things people did not know.
Give us a nugget.
Factually about the Superstar. What'd you say?
Give us a nugget. Give us a sample size.
A sample. Here's a sample. The Superstar was the shoe that gave birth to player endorsements.
Wow.
So
Nice. Okay.
that's one of them.
God bless the Superstar.
And it gave birth to player endorsements by way of reaction. It wasn't technically endorsed by any specific player, as we all know, but because when it emerged on the market, it caught on so quickly, it caused other brands to have to react by paying players to continue to wear their shoes. So the Superstar caused that. So there's a few other things that I shared that, hit people over the head as far as the factual origins and upbringing and the quote-unquote rise of the Superstar, if you will. So, everybody in attendance both days, 100-plus people, total for both days, got to hear some really good nuggets. And at the end of both sessions, people were given the task of creating their own colorway via sketch of the Superstar. And the best one, which Adidas is still picking now, they get to win a pair of Superstars and a couple of other things that I'm not at liberty to say that they win. So it was a really dope weekend. A lot of people were really happy that Adidas conducted the sessions, and people were really interested in a cross section of ages and interests. I could say I had everybody there easily from about 8 to 48 easily.
Okay. Wide range.
Yeah, very wide range both days. It worked out really well. I enjoyed it. I'm going to put the link out and for people to see coverage later. I'll share that at the end of the show if anybody wants to see it. But, excuse me, again, it was a really dope experience. And I'm hoping that at some point you know, we take it on the road and start sharing it in different states and even countries. Because the Superstar is a, for people who don't know, it's a universal shoe. It's a global shoe. It's not a local shoe at all. It's always had, you know, worldwide appeal. And from some of the comments that I've been getting from people on social media, they're most definitely ready and interested in that kind of experience, traveling, you know, globetrotting, if you will. So get your frequent flyer miles up, D.
It's all good. I'm ready, as they say.
Word. So
I'm ready. I'm ready, man.
So we got everybody locked and loaded like out of nowhere all of a sudden. These is in the building. JLR is in the building, and last but certainly not least, and more importantly, I see we have our guest, Patrick from Villa's in the building.
What's up, Patrick?
We gotta unmute him now. Yeah.
What's going on, fam?
What's going on, Patrick?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So for people who are not familiar with who you are, Patrick, you are officially with Rue Villa, but more importantly, you've been there for more than a hot minute. You've been at Villa for what is this? Almost 8 years?
Yeah, you nailed it. I've been with Villa for 8 years.
Okay.
It's a great journey, man.
Cool. What is your official capacity, title, all that good stuff? Like, break it down for us, because I know you, but the crew and all certainly the disorderlies around the world who are tuning in, you know, what is it that you do? What like how many multiple hats do you wear on a daily basis?
Well, you know what? I guess my official title is Vice President of Marketing at Villa, but in my role, I oversee marketing, e-commerce, digital, and community.
Okay. And this is something, I mean, this is something you've been passionate about for a while. I know, you know, you and I have a connection to New England. At one point, you were in this neck of the woods for college, and then you decided to say, "Please, I'm going down to G-Town."
Yeah, I learned my lesson, man. I had enough snow.
See?
I don't know how you do it. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I decided to Chocolate City for Georgetown, man. It was too cold up in here.
It was too cold. Okay, so from what was it, Babson? Am I correct? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Great memory, baby. Yeah, I went from back down to Georgetown.
Okay. So now at Villa, you know, VP of marketing, e-commerce, some of everything. You know, you guys are big. You're major. You're continuing to make a lot of noise. You've got a lot of stores all over the United States. Kind of tell that story, though, because there's no Villa stores here in Massachusetts yet. But I have a sneaky suspicion y'all are coming, you know, we'll be opening up some stores pretty soon. But talk about that history, though, because you're based in, originally Villa is based out of Philadelphia, PA.
Got it. So the company was first started right outside of Philly. And, like I said, I started 8 years with Villa. And for me, honestly, I wasn't even looking to be in urban retail, to be honest. You know, born and raised in New York City. And I absolutely hated retail. I hated it from the perspective of just growing up in the Bronx. If I went into a store or tried to go in the store, they didn't let me go in. Or if I got in, they followed me around. You know the whole scenario. But it was something about Villa that just kind of locked in. So I went down to Philadelphia. I went to the stores. I talked to staff. And the thing that captured me was the fact that the company really is about helping the community. The company, when I started, we only had 10 stores. And the whole thing was always about being connected with the community, connected in the neighborhood. How do we employ people directly in the neighborhoods? And not only employ people from the neighborhoods, but also advance people from neighborhoods. So the people, the managers in stores, they actually reflect the demographic in the stores. I mean, graphics in the neighborhood. Like, they actually look like us, the managers. And for me, it was impressive. I just wasn't used to seeing that in the neighborhoods. And so that really stuck with me. And the CEO just said, hey, I got some great people. They want more opportunities. I can't give them more opportunities unless I grow this business. And, you know, we've been blessed 8 years later. We got more than 100. We're in 10 states. We just entered to Dallas recently, and we're looking to continue to grow this thing, man.
Okay. So, in total, grand total, what are you all at? Like 90 plus stores?
We're at 108.
100. Wow. Okay. Okay. And one of your newer markets, you said this off air to me. You said that pretty soon you have something in store for good old NYC. You have a pop-up shop that's coming up pretty soon.
Yeah. So we haven't even completely gone live with it, but yeah, we're gonna have a pop-up shop for All Star. We tested it out in New Orleans last year. We did, and now we're just looking forward to going out to New York City. Really awesome. Me being from New York, I'm definitely excited about it. We're actually doing the pop-up shop with Starter. We're taking over retail space at the Paramount Hotel, and it's gonna be crazy. We're gonna be selling some of the collabs that we had earlier this year with Starter, the Big East pack, as well as Cotton franchise pack, and then we're also gonna release a new pack. All-Star Weekend. It's a slam dunk pack, and we're going to kind of celebrate some of the old slam dunk champions of the past. In addition to the starter collab, we're also going to do a little refresh on the Timberland sweet potato boot, as well as the Reebok Question Pump, A Day in Philly, and then I'm sure some of you guys already heard about to launch our newest collaboration with Timberland, the Emery boot, and so we'll actually have the boot, the Emerald boot, launched at the pop-up shop as well in New York.
Nice. Now, Patrick, this is Sean, paper from OSD. Pleasure to meet you, man. Thanks for coming on. I know you guys also, meaning Villa, the entity, because Villa also is one of the key sponsors of our good friend Kevin and Andrew's event, Cleveland's Got Soul. That's where I got, really more familiar with Villa. I had heard of you guys, but us being, promotional partners and friends of Kevin and Andrew with the Cleveland Got Soul show franchise, we saw that you guys were a big part of that. And speak a little bit about some of that, as far as, how selective you guys are as far as partnering with people and the efforts that you put forth, because you guys being key sponsors of Cleveland's Got Soul, those guys give all of that money to, like, the Children's Tumor Foundation, and, a few years prior was LeBron James Foundation. How important is it for you guys to partner with people who have a bit of philanthropy and they're not just out for a cash grab?
I'm happy you brought that up. That's a big part of what we do. One of the secrets to our businesses, it's no secret I'm located in urban locations, some of the roughest neighborhoods around the country. But I think the secret to it for us is that we're not afraid. We're not afraid going to the streets. And unfortunately, when you look at mainstream media, people think everything in the neighborhoods is negative. However, that's just a small portion. There's a lot more positivity in the community than but there aren't that many organizations and companies that can embrace the positivity.
Right.
So since we are, it just makes it a lot easier for us to compete. And bringing this up because the whole is about being a platform where we can actually give those other platforms for positivity. How do we work with different groups and different individuals who are trying to do something positive? Add a little Villa on it to hopefully take them to another place, a lot higher than where they are. And when you look at Cleveland Got Soul, it was inspiring to see what their commitment was about. Like, they never brought up, in the initial conversation, never brought up anything about trying to make a buck. It was really about sneaker culture. It was about doing it the right way, celebrating the right way. It was about the city of Cleveland, and it was about how could you bring together a bunch of individual heads who love product, bring them together, do something positive when they come together. And we were blown away about it, and just had to invest in what they're doing. And I hope these guys continue to try to grow the sneaker show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, one of the other things I wanted to bring up too that you guys were involved with that, also stands out pretty big to me that a lot of people don't know is when the Future Soul Mellow shoe came out, you guys were the first ones in retail to showcase and have the shoe on sale. Talk about your involvement with that and how you guys felt about that, because that's another one, again, Dwayne Edwards and Penn Soul and Future Soul that we've been partners with for a very long time, and it's good to see people from other promotional and supportive partners getting involved with stuff like that. What was you guys' angle on getting involved with that?
It was multifaceted. I mean, one, Dwayne's just good people, and so it was that relationship there. And the other thing was the winner happened to be neighbors of the CEO of Villa. In fact, the CEO would give him different magazines. We could come over his house and give him different magazines, sneaker culture, and he really, it's funny, the CEO actually helped to kind of cultivate his interest in sneakers, sneaker culture. So when he won, he was like, I'd love to be able to sell the sneaker at Villa. And so we wanted to make his dreams come true. We catered it. We asked him what was his favorite food. He told us. We made sure we had it there. We invited his friends from school, and we brought the whole Reading, PA area out to celebrate what he was doing. So that's one more example of just really investing in those who are part of this positive movement in the neighborhoods.
Yeah. So as you can see, we sharp here. We know what you guys are doing. See. So let's talk about some of the challenges these days. You mentioned how fast you guys are growing. But you're growing actually at a time where some people have been around as long as you guys are longer. For example, most recently, Cricket Tongues. People are going out of business, and you guys are expanding. What's your thought process on how you guys are able to be so successful at this point in time?
I think it's a couple of things. One, it's we got to stay humble, we got to stay hungry, and we got to stay committed to the customer. We can't fool ourselves. At the end of the day, we're successful because the customer chose for us to be successful. I mean, that's the honest. The customer can go wherever they want to go. We got to be committed to the customer. We got to make sure we make them feel important. We talk about bringing Fifth Avenue to the neighborhood, and that's what we're committed to doing. It's not rocket science. We just bring hospitality back to neighborhoods. So when you think about some of those challenges, though, as we grow, how do you scale that? And that's the challenge for us. And how do we continue to create powerful programs so that the community feels like, yeah, you guys are connected. And I'll give you an example. So I'm not sure how many of you guys have heard about this, but we last year we started a partnership with the Jordan brand. We've been working with Larry Miller and Howard White on something that Villa's created, which is called A's for J's program. Academic incentive program for high school students. We started last year. This is our second year doing it. And with the program, the high school students get $25 credit for every A that they receive in math, science, or English. They get a $25 credit on Jordan merchandise. And we're doing it in 3 high schools right now in Philadelphia, Imhotep, West Philly, as well as Kingston Kappa. The school that demonstrates the highest academic achievement, they get a $25,000 grant to go back to school programming, and then we're also giving away a scholarship, a $2,500 scholarship at each school. And so we're piloting it here in Philly, and the goal is to get this thing right and then scale it around the country. So once again, we're showing a commitment and a give back to the community, because at the end of the day, the customer, like I said, is making us successful.
Now, don't you think with everything that's been going on, for example, since Christmas, with all the violence, the deaths, the robberies, the jail sentences behind Jordan Brand shoes, that they would want to celebrate that more?
Yeah, what's interesting is that it's one of those things where you look at a brand like Nike and it's so great at publicizing things. This is one of those things where it's just pure, and it's like their first goal in their heart. It's like, let's get this thing right. Let's not first go with a big show, but let's get it right. We've got independent researchers who are actually following the program, helping us attest the efficacy of it. Their heart's in the right place. Right now, it's not even about publicizing it too much. It's about getting it right. So much so that Howard White and Larry Miller were out here Thursday and Friday in Philadelphia, and they went to each and every school to be there for the kickoffs of the event. And they didn't have to do that. So I think for them it's more, and they've told us, let's just get it right, and then let's get it. And we'll get the press on that stuff later. Let's just make sure we're doing the right thing for the kids.
Yep, that's definitely needs to be a consistent effort. So, again, we're talking about, the village journey and how you guys have been able to grow to scale in the midst of the adversity that the retail climate is facing. And, you also mentioned the great things that you guys are about to do for All-Star Weekend and in collaboration with Timberland, which I want to, get on that from a brand perspective for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Timberland has, up until recently, pretty much been a down dog. And they recently, slowly made that climb back into our level of consciousness, ours collectively, level of consciousness. Was there any apprehension about doing the collaboration with them, or did you guys just know right off top that it was the right thing to do?
You know what? We felt like it was the right thing to do. We did the collab. What was it? Man, time goes by fast. It was almost 2 years ago when we did the JTM boot. You see, I don't know if you remember it, but we did the JTM boot. You can see it?
Yeah.
So we did the JTM boot initially, and it was a huge success. It was bigger than we ever thought it would be. It was one of those things where we said, hey, it was one of those things where we said, you know what, let's collab with each other. We've got a story to tell, and we really wanted to tell the story of the Wissahickon Boys and Girls Club in Philadelphia. It was the first Boys and Girls Club in the country to actually allow African Americans to be partners. And we were like, we got this story. We want to bring it to life. We feel like this boot. We came together to create the boot. We wanted to tell the story through the boot and give a percentage back to charity. And it was just such a great success. We felt like we had something. Like those things, when we initially did it, we thought it was going to be a one and done. And then because of the success, everyone just started asking, well, when's the next one coming? When's the next one coming? And I gotta tell you, it's one of those things where it's just been a great fit. And I think, and I know you guys showed that initial picture, but I think
hold that one up a little bit more, a little higher. There we go. There we go.
I think this one is incredible. So I think that people are going to be amazed by it. Like I said, I think it came out well. So far we've gotten incredible response just from people. So just to answer your question, no, it's actually been a good fit. And we've got some other stuff we got coming up down the in the future with Timberland. So it's definitely a good fit. But I think, when you ask the question of how have we been able to be successful this time, I think this is part of it. I think it's doing these collaborations, which is weird because when you think about a chain that has as many stores as we do, you don't think about being able to curate these product stories with different brands. It's normally the best class boutiques who do a great job at it, and we've been fortunate because of our relationship with the customer and our relationship with the brands where we're also able to create stories as well.
Right, and I'm glad you touched on that because that was going to be my next question is you guys are doing stuff that's usually, limited to boutiques, and here you are 100+ stores and you guys are cranking out collaboration projects that are, with the boutique feel. Talk about a little bit of the inspiration behind this one if it doesn't have any obvious cues. I see the green, but talk about that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, when you come into February, we were going to celebrate February as the month of love. And typically when you think of the month of love, you think of red. And, there's a lot of Valentine's Day packs that are coming out by different brands, and it's color. We wanted to do a little spin. And so we were doing some research, and we realized that, the gemstone emerald is actually, the stone of love. And it's Venus's gemstone. And we realized that, okay, well, it's supposed to be inspired by love. It's supposed to also be good luck in terms of providing love. That's a different spin on this month. It doesn't have to be red. And in fact, like I said, in many cultures, the emerald stone is a symbol of love. We wanted to go that route. And truthfully, we understood too, if people weren't willing to accept that story, and if they didn't get that story, you still, because March is that following month, you can always have your St. Patty's Day. But it really is about love and our own little different take on the month of love.
Right. That's a good theme there. I don't know. I think we covered so much right now. I think D. We ready to turn it over to the Soul Doctors, see if they got anything?
I think we certainly are, because I mean the emerald. I mean, it is. People don't initially think of that, Patrick. Like, you think of love, you think of red immediately, kind of cliche. But so yeah, let's turn it over to the doctors and let's see what what their thoughts are about the boost, what Villa is doing. A big part of what Villa has done and continues to do is the peace in the community, and that is not something a lot of other retailers or boutique stores or small business owners do. So salute to you and the Villa team for doing that.
Yes, sir. Let's turn it over to that guy who's currently designing a ring over there right now.
Yeah, maybe he's doing something with some emerald. No, his is red because it's ruby. Yeah, like there you go.
There he is, show off. Show off. He's just a show off, Patrick. Don't worry. Whenever you talk to him on social media, just use hashtag show off.
You're gonna have everybody saying that, man.
Go ahead, Steve.
No, I definitely like the theme that you got going. I like that that divergence from the typical, an emerald boot for Valentine's Day. Is there going to be a direct connection to that story, or is it just that it's coming out during that month? Because I think that one thing that we often talk about here on the show, and Jesse and I often bring it up, is that subversive sort of story, that sort of underlying theme versus a more overt take, because as you started to explain that made perfect sense. The emerald and all those things that come to mind with that semi-precious gemstone, Maybe you can explain a little bit about how you relay stories, how you convey the message, how you share the picture without it being so subversive that people don't get it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? So we're not going to throw it in your face, like I said. It's not going to be overt. It's one of those things where throughout it, like once again, you can see it in the color. We say it's emerald. If you do your research on emerald, you'll get it. Also, even with working with someone like Jacob Keller and having him put it out there, we worked with him, and he pretty much kind of took a picture of his day wearing them, but it's his day. He loves what he does. He's passionate about what he does, and you can love many different things. You know what I mean? That was also part of it. So, it's one of those things, we're not going to be too overt, but the people who do their homework, the people who look into it, they kind of get it. It's the same thing if I bump into somebody, and if I have a pair of JTMs on my feet, some people get like, man, I need those red joints on my feet. Some people also get the whole Wissahickon story, and they're like, hey, I really do appreciate that story. I didn't really know that. I didn't know the story. I didn't know Bill Cosby went there. I didn't know that was first Boys and Girls Club. There are a lot of African Americans in there. They get it. Similar with, if I wear a pair of the 89 boots, they're blue, they may say, oh, I love the blue ones, but they may not understand that it really was our way of telling the world more about Villa and the history, from 1989. So, we do leave little things there, enough there so that the know-it-all can be able to brag and kind of give that little story around their friend.
Right. Good looks.
Cool. So as Patrick, as people are, kind of seeing the pictures pop up now, what are the descriptions that someone used that kind of either caught you off guard or made you, basically made you go, we didn't think of that. So all of a sudden, like how we always say, the streets are really good with either coming up with a nickname or giving it a new life or something. Have you heard anything yet? I know pictures started hitting the internet. I saw them earlier today, but have you started hearing anything?
I haven't heard new nicknames for it. But the thing is with me, we all know, like, everyone has an opinion. And on social media, people could bash, and you're gonna bash everything. And the funny thing, it hasn't really been bashed. We're all kind of walking around the halls like, man, we haven't actually seen anything get such great feedback like this has. So that's a little bit unnerving because you're used to at least some kind of haters in there. And everyone has an opinion, it's cool, but the thing is, everyone's just been really excited. I think the thing for us is internally, we're like, all right, this color is bright. It's February. All right, let's give it a shot. We love our story, and we were a little nervous about it, but I think the biggest thing was that no one's been nervous about it. And I think also that people know how to wear it. So, ASAP Ferg, he wore it the right way. He had the right lay with it. Jacob Keller, he did the same thing. Like, no one's trying to match it all green outfit. So it's I think that it's just amazing how the appetite of the customer is there and is ready for it, which has been great.
Well, like I said, this is the perfect time, and you have the perfect storm of cold, snow, and it's just a different color. Like, how often do we see a green, especially like emerald green boot? I mean, we've seen olive green. I can't think of any other green Timberland boot at this point in time, other than some of the stuff that they did back in, say, like 05, 06, which was when they were messing up. I'm not gonna lie. That's when Timberland was like on some. Yeah, that was a bad time, But you think about a company like Timberland has been around since 1973. A construction boot company that the hood adopted and and basically embraced and made it hip and cool. And now we're seeing the flavors. I mean, we talk about, again, stories, right? Villa has a story, Timberland has a story. It's a perfect marriage.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing about it is, and this is why I asked the question, Patrick, was the fact that, they are slowly on the uptick back, I mean, we can officially kind of say they're back just based on this past winter. But, before this past winter, it was still, people are rocking Timberlands again. It was that kind of casual conversation. Oh, they're rocking Tims again. But this winter, falling is like, yo, Tims, son, they back. Yo, they, it's like without a second thought, people are copping Tims again. So that's why I asked if there was any reservation about it, because sometimes you really don't know. Because sometimes brands show signs that, they're moving back in the right direction, and then they let you down by one failed collab, and you're like, oh, they fucking didn't get it. No, they still need to stay where they was. But
I know what you mean. We all remember the Dookie chain one. Yeah, we all remember.
Right. Oh man.
Right. So
yes.
It had to be tough, like when Timberland started making sneakers and doing all kind of crazy stuff. You from where we from, so that's kind of stuff, for people. It had to be hard to kind of, toss out of your mind and step to the plate with this with a completely brand new objective view. Is that correct in saying so?
Yeah, you know what? What's true is, and we all can talk about it, like, the Timberland is the iconic boot. It's the iconic boot for the neighborhood's iconic boot for hip hop and urban culture. Like, that's the boot. And it's authentic. They needed to clean everything up and not do the other things and not try to pander and not try to cater. Like, I think they realized that we all love the boot because it was iconic. It's what we grew up with. And I think they've done the right things to kind of clean it up and bring everything back. And collaborating with them too, it's a way for us to say kind of thank you for actually not bastardizing the brand, and kind of restoring it to what we all remember. I mean, there's not that many things where a grandfather, a dad, and their son can all wear the same thing, and they all feel like it's still in style. You know what I mean?
Right.
And a 6-inch Tim boot is one of those few things out there.
Right. And the reason I asked that is because it was a point in time, and just to tie it into Dwayne Edwards, we mentioned Dwayne Edwards earlier with the Future Soul competition, but we all know Dwayne did the Goa Dome too, which just about single-handedly crushed Timberland's business when it came out. So now we're talking 2015, Timberlands and back. We're talking about 10 to 12 years where we really weren't fucking with Timberland anymore, and the Go Dome 2 was like that throwback jersey line like Jay-Z threw out there. And to see them progress and survive at number one and then progress back to the level of automatic cop, no question, is an interesting story to behold. There's very few brands out here right now where you even get to tell that story. So I think you guys with the collaboration projects is a good part of furthering that journey back to, we know we was off for a little while, but we back, and Villa believes it too. Look at the shit they cranking out with us. You know what I mean? So it's rare to see that cycle where it comes back from that downturn, because there are a lot of brands who it takes them a lot of time to come back, and it took a long time for Timberland too, but now it's automatic again where like everybody's calling them. You feel me? So was that a part of the apprehension too, or was it no, we're just gonna do this because we want to do it?
Well, we're gonna do it because we like the brand. Once again, it's authentic. Like, it's not us trying too hard. It's authentic, and they did they did the right things in terms of bringing it back. Like, just bringing it back, reining in all those things. I mean, we all remember. I mean, and I even remember being in conversation with them and said, it's bad when you get to the point where you pull a customer looks at your product on the wall and they just laugh, and that's what it got to for a period. Too many styles they were bringing out, and like I said, to their credit, they brought it back in. They kept it to a few number of colors on the 6-inch boot, and then they allowed a partner like Villa to come in and then start to curate those stories for a customer.
Right.
And I think that's what they understood. You need a partner. Like, you guys have a great product, but you need a partner in telling some of these advanced stories to a customer.
Awesome, awesome approach, Patrick. Awesome. Any of you soul doctors got any questions? I feel like I'm hogging up the time here. Anybody, all these microphones is on mute. What's really good?
Everyone's like, look at Mr. T Squire. Look like Philly Freeway. I don't know.
Tariq's been getting his OSD fixed via muted microphone all day.
Exactly. We see you, T Squire. We see you.
All right, so I'm gonna keep getting my journalism on, Patrick. I hope you don't mind.
No, let's go.
I think we're doing a good enough job with our interview here, where no one has any questions. So.
Sorry, I was eating. I'm eating.
Here's a good one for you.
I'm on the show ID track. I'm listening to the knowledge being dropped. Don't worry, I'm here.
Ah, okay. All right. All we need is a beat, and we good, Patrick. So, with 108 stores, you did say 108, right?
Yep.
Right now, with the current climate, retail climate, that is, where would you say is Villa's toughest market right now? Where are you guys looking where you say, we know we could be doing a little bit better?
That's a tough one. I'll put it this way. I mean, honestly, once again, we've been fortunate. We've been able to ride a really good wave. I think for us, it's now having this new challenge, and the new challenge for us is the Texas market. We bought DK that was down there in Dallas, and we'll soon be. So right now we're in the process of renovating and transforming 5 of the 12 stores that we purchased. And so the first 5 Villa stores will start to be open in Dallas, come February. And so that's like a new frontier. We don't have any stores in the South. All of our stores are in the Northeast and Midwest. So this is a completely new thing. I mean, right now, think about it. In Dallas, the weather's 20 degrees.
Yeah.
And, it's not what we got right here in the Northeast. So there's a lot of different changes. It's a different customer. And right now, we're really just focused on making sure we can be successful and tell the Villa story down there.
Nice. Yeah.
Come down to the Pacific Northwest. I'll hold you down.
I appreciate it. We want to be there.
So, with that being said, so you said you're conquering, the down south market, and Texas being the big state that it is, that's a huge state to finally conquer, starting with Dallas. You guys are coming to New York, which is the sneaker capital of the world. Are you sure what your strategy is going to be here in terms of making sure you don't become just one of those other sneaker stores?
Well, two things. One, so we're just doing a pop-up shop in the beginning. So we're just doing a pop-up shop. So we don't have any concrete plans of having a permanent store in New York. But now it's just a pop-up shop. But in general, I mean, that is our fear of just being a regular store. You know, we want to still be able to give you that boutique and that kind of feeling and curate these special stories, and leverage the fact that we're opening up new stores and saying that just means we have a greater reach to share our story and to have more of an influence. And when you become large, they end up losing that soul, and we don't want to lose the soul. We want to keep the soul, but use this expansion as an opportunity to share a story. So what you described is our worst nightmare, and we're working hard every day to not let that come true.
That's why I ask these questions, Patrick. Who else has questions? Who else has questions?
It's nice to hear that a retailer has a plan. I like that Sean said, do you guys have a plan and a strategy? Because just opening a store and throwing stuff in it ain't going to work.
Not in this day and age.
Yeah, well, in New York in particular, where the concentration, and Patrick, you're from New York, so you know the stretch between Times Square and Herald Square has the most amount of sneaker stores per capita in all of New York City. You know that.
Yes.
And I've given, some of the soul doctors here who are not from New York, I've taken them on what's called the sneaker tour. And they see exactly the magnitude of competition that's out here, and how in some way, shape, or form they all have their own customer. So that's why I asked that question, is because you being from New York, you seeing Villa's journey and knowing how things are here, what the pitfalls could be. But it's rough everywhere. I mean, again, like I said, Crooked Tongues has been around for 15 years, and they've just shuttered their doors. We've seen other stores close over the years. Huff is one who closed their doors a while back. So stores with some big names, and even Crooked Tongues, who they've had all those collaboration projects all over these years. Some of which you guys may have stocked in your very own stores. Even they couldn't sustain with that level of notoriety behind the collaborations and the forums and everything else. It's tough out here. So it's good that you guys, understand, that you do have to roll up your sleeves wherever you go, just like you mentioned in Dallas. Texas is a big place to conquer. It is not a lie. We get down to Houston often enough to know, everything really is bigger in Texas sometimes.
That is true.
So we understand the challenge there. What's a good day like for you, knowing all of this and thinking about all this stuff? Because it's probably going through your head all the time, just like it goes through our heads.
Yeah, in general, the best days are when I can actually just be around the customer, to be honest with you. That's the best day. That's when the ideas come. That's when you understand what you're not doing right. I mean, we all have ideas and these theories. Oh, this could work, that could work. But when you're in front of the customer and you get the real responses, but also you get a chance to see the customer pain. And for us, that's really the genesis of our innovation. It's by sitting down, talking with the customer, understanding what their pain points are, and then how can we come back and solve it. At the end of the day, people will keep coming to you if you're solving their need. You stop solving it, traffic's not coming to your door.
Yep, that's facts. Okay, so flip side of that, what's a bad day for you, Patrick?
Ooh. A bad day is, I think a bad day is if you don't provide the proper customer service to the customer. To be honest with you, a bad day is when we don't provide a customer with, the customers don't feel like they have that Fifth Avenue experience. That really is a bad day. You know, some reason, product doesn't get out there from an e-commerce perspective, or for some reason, if there's a big lease and there's a mix-up at the store, it's really the customer. I mean, the way I look at it, my team looks at it is, at the end of the day, we have good lives, and the only reason why we have good lives is because our customers come to the store, and that's real. I'm able to live my life, pay my bills because people come into the stores. And if we can't repay that with great service, and that's all they're asking for, that's a bad day.
Right, right. So one of the things we also do here on the show is we also have our own education program called Social Studies, and in our program we teach people about jobs besides design and working
right there.
So I didn't hear him. What did he say for a minute?
He said, "Keep talking."
He said, "Keep talking." He's listening to you.
So what we do is we teach people about different positions in this footwear industry besides that. So with that being said, when you come back on screen, I want you to share with our viewers around the world who are trying to get into this industry some advice for anyone who wants to be the next Patrick Avila.
Give me one second, just plug it in. Yeah. Alright, welcome back, guys. Alright, so, you know what? If I think what you say, kind of with some career advice, yeah, I mean, what I would say is yep, you say it?
What would you say as some words of advice for the guy who's watching this show, the girl who's watching this show, some of the people who are in our demographic for when we teach social studies? What would you say to them as far as going down your path to becoming, the next Patrick Avila?
Yeah, I would say, and this is some of the stuff I even heard from Howard White when he came to talk to the kids. It's just follow your passion. Like, don't be afraid to follow your passion. I'll tell you that, every day I go to work, like, I'm doing what I'm passionate about. I feel fortunate to make a living just being myself. Mm-hmm. I've done other jobs where, it's challenging just being you, and make a living by just being me. So it's a blessing. So it's, aim and never settle, never be comfortable. Continue to innovate and always look to see, look for ways that you can be better. You got to have that hunger to be better, and you can't look to be comfortable. So that would be a little bit my advice, and then obviously stay humble and try to pass it on to other people.
Nice, nice. Anybody else got questions for our brother Patrick?
I do. I have couple questions, Patrick, and this one's coming from Ben Berry. I wanted to know about the Villa Invitational that's coming up. I know I saw something about that as well. What is that? What is the Villa Invitational? It seems like it's pitting two major cities against each other in a basketball tournament.
Yeah, so we just did it we just had it this past weekend. It's the Villa Classic. Done it 8 straight years. It's the best of Philly high school teams versus the best of New York City. Growing up in New York, I used to love going to high school ball. I remember seeing Stephon Marbury play when he was in high school for Lincoln. And when I got to Philly, one of the things that was shocking was just the talent and the high level of high school ball. So decided to come up with this program or this tournament where essentially just brought the best teams from New York City to come down and to Philadelphia and play the best teams in Philly. And the city's responded well. Every year, players look forward to playing into it. We've had NBA players. We've had players go on and play in the NBA like Tyreke Evans. We've had several hundreds of players who've gone on and played D1 basketball. But it really is a good event.
Okay, and it gets, again, it's Villa's way of engaging student athletes. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's exactly it. it gives a platform for the high school students to really, one, get recognition. It's an opportunity for the high school students to have their family, their neighborhood, their friends come out, and it's a way for the students to represent Philly. And we first, in the beginning, it was Catholic versus public, and then later we wanted to really make it more about celebrating Philly, so that everyone in the audience was rooting for the team because they were representing Philly. So what you said is exactly, it's a platform for these high school athletes.
I gotta start buying more shoes from Philly, yo.
Hey, if anyone wants to, you know where to go. RUVilla.com.
Yep. Now, do we got the question from Nabs D? Is that your next question?
No, I didn't see that one yet. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw one out to you from somebody from the DMV area, Patrick. Our homeboy Nabs 0260 is a big Hoya fan. I believe he went there also. His question is, what was your educational background, your major, and what was the most important stepping stone for you from school into the industry?
All right, so as Dia said, I initially went to Babson, and then I transferred over to Georgetown, and I majored in finance at Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
I later got my MBA at Kellogg and Northwestern. I think one of the big moments for me was when a lot of people don't know, but I actually dropped out of college for a couple of years while at Georgetown. My best friend and I, we had started up our own market research firm. It was focused on researching urban youth, and for that period, I really just wanted to understand why people like me made the decisions that we'd made. And I had a chance to work with companies like Timberland, like Levi's, academic institutions, federal government, and it was a good run. And I think that was a great foundation for me because, one, it allowed me really to explore the world. It allowed me to just kind of live life a little bit. I grew up in the projects and Edgemont projects, later in Co-op City. I was in a bubble. And when I went to college, it was just a sensory overload. Everything was just a lot different than what I was used to. And while I was in school, I was interning in investment banks, and I just felt this cultural thing that I was rejecting, and I just really couldn't feel comfortable. And that 2 years of just kind of doing my business allowed me to really kind of reflect on life, explore different things, and just really get a chance to expand. It was really another education for me, and so it was just a great foundation. And then obviously I went back to school, finished up my degree, and got my master's.
All right. Cool. What else you got, D?
Actually, just before you get started, D,
Mm-hmm.
I hope people understand what my man just said there. That's a rare thing for anyone to strike out on their own, stop school, and then go back and complete, not just complete, but then advance. You see a lot of people that have dropped out and gone back. I've mentored and counseled a lot of young people who don't make the leap back to finish. So kudos for that, man. And that's a point that I don't want people to miss.
I didn't.
Is that going back is a tough thing, and that tests your heart. It's a personal integrity thing to persevere. You know,
Yeah.
I've had that path happen myself after a transfer and a first college that didn't work out quite right. You come home, you start working, like you said, you make some money, and you can get short-sighted in the hustle if you let it take hold, because that short-term money feels real good, and you think you're getting it done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but to have the integrity to self-check and go back, man, applause for that.
Word up.
So Patrick, as you know, home base is outside, of Philadelphia for Villa, right?
Well, the headquarters is in Philly. We're right
Oh, it
there
is in
in
Philly.
yeah, we're in Center
Okay.
City, Philly.
Okay, so you're in the heart of it. There's been, there's always been the connection between Philadelphia and New York, from a fashion standpoint, music standpoint, sports, obviously, numerous sports. What do you see having lived in both places now, what do you see are the overlapping things from a strictly from a fashion, and fashion, of course, being clothing as well as sneakers. What are the connections that you see, or the overlaps between Philadelphia and say New York City, that you were like, okay, I could see this connection, or maybe, and then the second piece, the second question is, what's something that's unique to Philadelphia that doesn't happen or doesn't take place in New York City?
I think there's a, in terms of connection, I think there is a foundation piece where on the I-95 strip where there's a couple of universals, right? Universals around whether it's Timberlands, universals around, just the legacy the Air Force One was. There's a couple things, just a legacy. But I think the one thing that shocked me, however, was just how different Philly can be as well. Like, there's just things that are different. I remember when I first moved down to Philly years ago, the thing that caught my mind was capris. That men were wearing capris. And
okay. So men are wearing capris.
Men wearing capris, denim capris.
Uh-huh.
I mean, all types of capris. But and it's not as much of a fashion thing now, but at that time, Philly was the first market that really went hard with this whole athletic movement, athletic fashion. Nike apparel got its start recently in Philly, and then it started to grow to these other markets. And it really started Swishy pant, the Nike Swishy pant. We were killing it with that.
That's right. That's right.
And then the rest of the Nike apparel started to move. So it's pretty resilient. It ends up in its own thing a lot of times with fashion. And so that was the thing that was shocking. I mean, being from New York, you think everything's New York, New York, New York. And I was glad to see that, Philly. I think that's the part that blew me away.
Okay.
So the fact that Philly has their own style, when you finally got deep down into it and saw it, and I guess the parallel to New York is too. We made our own rules too. They made their rules, and some things overlap, like Dee said, like Timberlands, like Air Forces. Fila's is another one.
Yep.
Yep. So totally understand that. Jesse, you got any questions? You're soaking up too much knowledge to not talk back.
You know me, I'm just listening to cut. That's all. I was when I was listening, and I'm sorry, I did have to step away for a minute. I got a call from my father back east, who's doing good in the snow. So, thank you.
Absolutely.
I listened to you say partnership with the brands to help them tell the story. I was curious to know how that came how that came about. Excuse me, the partnership there. Did Timberland come to you and say, hey, we need help here? Or did you say, hey, we'd like to carry your products, but we feel like we can help you with telling this story, and here's how? Because how that partnership comes into play is where I think it can help some kids or whoever out there who may have ideas or passion or be in retail and understand the consumer and not really know where to take those talents or where they can take them into a career.
I think it's a great question. In fact, we took the initiative. We took the initiative and said, let us tell that story. That's what makes us special. We are in the neighborhoods. We understand what the customer wants, and we've got some stories we want to tell the customer. And I think beyond just what Villa did and how other people can take that for their own life is, if you have a skill or if you have a talent, don't keep it inside. Like, take the initiative, raise the hand, say, I can add value by doing this. And it's whether or not the other person on the other side decides to take you up on it. And to Timberland's credit, they decided to take us up on it. We blew out the first one. Now, had that first one been a bust, trust me, we wouldn't be having this conversation about 3 more collabs down the line. But because it was a success, we're now doing this, and they understand the value we had. But we first had to take the initiative, and after taking the initiative, we had to actually do what we said we could do.
Nice.
Jesse, we had that talk, didn't we?
Oh, yes, we did.
Raise your hand and say, I can add value, and then show and prove. I like it. I hope heads are listening to this.
Word up. We got any more questions from online for Patrick?
I think
Nope.
that's it for now. That's it. Yeah.
Heavy show, Mr. Patrick Walsh.
Yeah, man.
Questions from the internet. Well, we got a couple. We got one person who now wants me to take them on the sneaker tour here in New York.
Yeah.
And we got your Georgetown question from our homie Nabs, and we've bombarded you with enough, I'm sure, but it was very insightful indeed, and it was a pleasure to meet you, honestly. Like I said, having known of Villa's efforts before without actually knowing anyone personally that worked there, and to hear you kind of personalize the initiatives that Villa's putting forward, and also just putting out some dope-ass product, simple and plain. It was a pleasure having you on, man. Look forward to more from you. Thank you.
Hey, it was an honor, fellas. I appreciate you letting me spend some time with y'all. Thanks.
Thank you, man.
Quick question for you.
Thank you, Patrick.
We got one more question for you because we're almost 99.8% certain that we've inspired somebody, you in particular, with this interview. What's the best way to reach you if anyone has any questions?
If anyone has any questions, you know what? Actually, if anyone has any questions, I'll give you two routes. One, email, and one will be just on, they can send out a tweet. So on email, just patrick.walsh, W-A-L-S-H, at the letter R, the letter U, Villa, V-I-L-A.com. And then on Twitter, you know what? You can send a tweet to at RUVilla.
All right.
I'm like I said, this was a heavy one. You gave us some really good, we really narrowed down the focus on what Villa was about, and we've known that, personally, we have known that Villa's been about some really good stuff for years now, but for you to really, fine-tune the details and then also, shed light on the product, it was dope. I'm happy, man. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, fellas.
Thank you. Thank you, Patrick.
All right, Patrick. Patrick Walsh, everybody, from Villa.
Yes, yes, yes.
He shed some really good light, yo.
Absolutely.
Really good
Villa
light.
is doing some good stuff in the community. That's the piece. I mean, it's one thing to just be able to sell sneakers or sweatshirts or boots, whatever, but they're actually doing stuff. And he did allude to this. I mean, we've been hearing a lot about the youth in Philadelphia and the issues of homicides and dropouts and all the stuff, the stuff that may be having a negative impact in the city there in Philadelphia, and they're trying to do their piece. Not saying that they can change everything, but they're trying to do their part. Yeah. And for that, definitely, I salute them for doing that. I mean, bringing in people like Howard White H from Nike, who if people haven't had an opportunity to read some of the pieces in his background, and he does have a couple books out there. I highly recommend reading them, but also more just he's accessible too. Just like Patrick, he said hit him up. Patrick.
He is
Walsh
accessible.
at
I'm going to second that right now. He's accessible. I've been in the gentleman's office twice in 3 years.
There you go.
Just me and Howard. Amazing experience. Very acceptable.
I was happy to see that they had him down there talking to the youth and saying, this is the guy who convinced Michael Jordan to stick with Nike. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. So for as critical as we are at times, about Nike and Jordan Brand, which happens more often than not these days, we're the only ones who are going to give you that side, like what Patrick just shared with the education initiatives and things that Jordan Brand is also doing. Other sites and other shows and everybody's going to live for the hype of Jordan Brand, and we're going to show you some other stuff that no one else is going to talk to you about because they know what rules the order of the day and gets hits and likes and all that kind of stuff. But, truth be told, look at that education initiative that H. White and those guys are doing with Patrick and Villa. Where else were you going to hear about that?
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Just saying. #facts.
Just saying.
So, With that being said, we got to get into the money-making aspect of this thing called the athletic footwear business, which was not a lot of money being made today.
Shoot, the stock market took a beating.
It was pretty bloody today.
Apple didn't take a beating. Shit.
The athletic footwear stock class took a beating today. So we start off with Nike finishing at $93.31, down $1.19 per share. Skechers finished at $61.85, up $1.45 per share today. VF Corporation, Vanity Fair Corporation, parent company for Timberland, finished at $71.03 per share, down 3 cents per. Under Armour, who are getting a lot of talk lately, especially with Stephen Curry getting the most NBA All-Star votes out of any NBA player this year, and with his shoe getting ready to launch. Under Armour finished at $70.87 per share, but down $1.09 on the day. Deckers, it's UGG season. Deckers Outdoor Corporation finished at $81.48 per share, up 54 cents per. And from this point, it gets pretty bloody, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you got on your attire like Dexter, because we don't want to get blood splatter on you. Foot Locker Incorporated finishes at $53.79, down 29 cents on the day. Adidas AG on the OTC market finishes at $34.44, down 69 cents per share today. Puma on the ETR market finishes at $171.75 in euros, down $155. eBay on the NASDAQ finishes at $53.84, down 85 cents. And last but not least, also on NASDAQ is Finish Line, finished at $24.08 per share, down 64 cents per share on the day. So a whole lot of downward trending on the day. Once again, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or later, you can catch the results of these 10 stocks that we, the Soul Doctors of OSD, watch on Twitter, on Google+, and also on Facebook. So even with a down day like this, we still encourage people to invest, because you got to be in it to win it on both sides of the game. So if you want to know how to do that, you can hit us at info@osdlive.com, and we'll show you how. Any reaction, gentlemen? If we unmute microphones. Any reaction?
I think it's somewhat normal for this time of year. We're coming off of holidays. We're coming off of the hot beginning of Q1, because holidays aren't all there is to it. There's also the sales time just after the first of the year, and then that lull between taxes. This is the quiet before the storm. We all know what's about to happen.
Tax money.
We all know what's about to happen, and
refund balling is about to be extreme.
Exactly, and as much as we joke about it and kind of have some levity about it, it's predictable. Like retailers and at the point of sale, they gear up for this. They joke about it too, because they know you're coming.
Hashtag refund balling.
Refund babies. So I think it's while it was a big dip, I think it's somewhat normal. I think it would be interesting to juxtapose the stocks that we're looking at, with fuel and food prices and some of those kind of more agricultural futures, to see where things have shifted, because prices on petroleum and gas continue to fall. And so that right now is getting everybody's attention. Like, no lie, man, premium gasoline here in the Midwest is at $2.15. Premium.
Oh, that's crazy.
Premium.
That's
wow.
insane. Premium.
Wow.
Premium.
I'm gonna be that guy and just throw it out there because I can, because I like to be that guy. Tax season, end of the year coming up. There's always two sets of books, and at some point you gotta make sure those books even out, or get rid of the one you don't want anybody to see. So,
yep, it's earnings season.
Exactly. So as you get ready to reconcile that stuff, you have to make sure certain numbers are in place so that you can move forward and be able to have those meetings and explain why, what is how.
Word.
You know what I'm saying?
Because we reported on this show a couple of years ago that a couple of companies, well, one company that was trying to go public with an IPO, their books were a little cooked. Simmer down now.
Simmer down.
Simmer down now.
It's I think it's what's cool. I think is I've been thinking about it, and Sean and I were talking about this earlier. I mean, the competition right now is great. There's a lot of competition right now. There are a lot of people gunning for spots. Like, everybody thinks everybody can get got. People look at Nike's number, but I think they just feel like in the marketplace and in everything else, they're like, yo, I'm trying to play, just like LeBron raised a level where everybody's like, yo, I can play LeBron. Everyone's kind of like, I can be in this battle. So I just think the energy and the competition is high right now. Everyone's trying to get on. Everyone's gunning.
Multiple levels. Multiple levels. So, yeah, man. We lost Kadoma and Adrian for a minute, but hopefully they'll be back. And we can put some word out one more time about the summit. But until we do that, I want to put up on screen to show everybody that on the OSD Live website, up on the blog, we have some recap of this weekend's Superstar sessions.
I love that picture, by the way. I have to be the first to say, like,
which one?
That one of you, like that picture. Like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh shit. That's what I said. I was just like, oh shit.
I looked like I was part of the campaign, right?
Exactly. And then when Steve actually posted the other one.
The one Steve put up had me going, oh
yeah,
shit. Like, I looked at the one Steve posted for a good like 20 minutes. Like, I stopped what I was doing. I was like,
that one right there. Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
Which one?
That one.
I was in heaven for a minute on that one.
The one with the arms on the Superstars?
The one with the Adidas foil and the OSD logo right next to each other. Like, yo, we have arrived. I was like,
oh, the one with you on the screen.
Yeah, photo of that too, show. You took a photo of that too, but I was standing in front of it with the logo on me. But I mean, truthfully speaking, we were, our brand was as big as their brand this weekend within the scope of what we were asked to do. So I mean, I'm honored that they asked me to do it. I had fun doing it. The reception and the response was awesome. Shout out to DJ Neil Armstrong, Chip Fu, Fushikins, Esteban Serrano, Fuse TV, Tommy Rebel, who some of you guys actually spotted in the picture, remembered him from Just for Kicks. So many people. My son's basketball team came through. There's so many people came through to, this weekend of festivities, and that's with snow that came on Saturday. People still came.
Hey, I want to take a second real quick. I don't want to interrupt too long. You got people hashtagging show up. Our boy Travie P. Hit me. He just hit me with it because I posted the sketch of the ring. What up, Trav?
What up, Trav?
Y'all funny, man.
Some of the coverage is up on the OSD Live website. Adidas did a blast out to God knows how many people the other day. But I just want to give my take on, a little bit of what happened inside and, kind of illustrate the way it went. That's why the pictures flow the way they do, so that people can kind of see, how the whole thing from day one and day two played out. I show the sneaker illustration, which I got to shout out to Ridiculous for, making it nice and creative friendly for me, and just show the experience of what people actually went through after hearing about the 45-year history of the Superstar.
So Sean, as an MC, which I say master of ceremonies, you were in the front, and you were putting your vibe out there for Adidas, kind of like what we were just talking about with Villa, you partnership, when you can tell this story better than anybody in that office could, and that's what you were able to do. When you were looking out into the people that were looking back at you as you were talking about the story, did you feel it? Like when you as a teacher, I think I've heard people say before, when you're talking about something and you can feel the intensity with people who are listening, did you feel that, and were you surprised by that?
I did. I wasn't surprised, and I did feel it for the simple fact that we know that we had stuff in terms of the history of the Superstar that is not public, that we put out there, you know, and it's a shoe where people will take it for granted because of how old it is, but they don't see exactly how many things that they're into now that shoe was the start of. Like going to sneaker events where everybody holds their sneaker up in the air now. That was from the Superstar. That's where that started. That didn't start with any other sneaker. So everybody goes to these events now to hold up Air Mags and Nikes and Jordans and all this stuff. When people say put a sneaker in the air, that started in Madison Square Garden in 1986 with Superstars.
And the funny thing to that is, I kind of brought that back. Not saying that I'm, the one that kind of brought the resurgence back, but Tariq can actually attest to this. Like back in, I want to say 04, 05, when we were out in, I think it was Seattle, Washington, for a Seattle, Washington Soul Collector event. I said to everyone, take off a shoe and hold it up in the air. And we actually had like this impromptu competition, but it wasn't even a competition. It was just, I just wanted the visual for the camera. Quite honestly, I want, and Tariq, you remember that? I mean, that was the
good old days.
The good old days. Okay,
but
I got that. I did. It's true. I borrowed that. I stole it from Run DMC. I stole it from Madison Square Garden. I stole it from. I saw people even doing that at the Albee Square Mall in the late '80s. And this is Albee Square Mall doesn't even exist now.
Yeah,
it's called City Point.
Yeah, exactly. But that's that kind of one of those moments where you just do something and they Run DMC and Superstar, they were the centerpiece of that. I mean, that blew everyone's mind. I mean, for you to stand up there and talk about this these sneakers, to me is amazing. Again, because there's so much history there.
So much.
And the fact that the innovation of the shell toe itself was created for protection, and then it became this crossover for what, b-boys, and people who skated and graffiti. Exactly. So,
and it was DMC who blew it up though, right? It was after that where the shoe just took a life of its own, correct?
Say again, Jess?
It was Run DMC that kind of put it on the map, and then it took a life of its own. I mean, it still stands the test of time. What's that?
There was no kind of about it. It was Run DMC finally was the ambassadors for what we were doing in the streets that everyone needed to see. I mean, they weren't doing anything other people in the street in New York weren't doing.
Oh, okay.
They weren't the first ones to do it. They were just the face of what was being done in New York.
Yeah.
So, and I made that clear when I spoke to people. It was like they didn't decide out of nowhere to do it, and then everybody just followed. Run DMC was the perfect reflection of what was already going on in the hood. So the perfect storm hit for them, and for the shoe itself, for it to springboard into, the acceptance of so many other levels. The shoe was already accepted by us in the hood for the things that I mentioned as far as hip-hop culture and b-boys and graffiti and all of that. We were already using it.
Art imitated life at that point.
Yeah. So, it was good to be able to stand up there and show people literally the timeline of everything the Superstar has been through. It was dope to do that. And yeah, again, to answer your question, Jesse, you could feel people like, what? Nah, get out of here. Who? I mean, I was pulling gems out. I was pulling gems out that, I've searched the internet for a long time to see if any of the stuff that I was about to share this weekend was out there. And some of it is, of course, from like 1986 and later. But everything from 1968 to 1983 or 86, when the release of My Adidas, is non-existent.
And see, that's why I kept asking if he would throw in a little pro model reference for me, because everybody wears the low tops.
Yeah.
That pro model is my joint.
Well, let's
Pro
talk about
model
that.
is so bomb.
And
I had a black on
even
black pro model.
I even went in on that because the pro model that everyone knows these days isn't the original form of the pro model.
Right, right.
The pro model was the Chuck Taylor competitor. It looked like the Chuck Taylor before the success of the Superstar.
Yep, and it was not pure white. It had a more natural colored rubber to it.
Right. So, there was so many things that I shared with people, and they were like, wow, like, really, son? Like, you really just going to throw all that on us right here in this couple of hours? And then at the end, it was like, all right, here goes some sketches. Here goes some blank sketches. Here goes colored pencils for everybody. Get busy. And they did, because, the whole thing just flowed into the point where, all right, tell your story now. You heard mine. You heard the shoe story. Now tell yours.
I think that's what I appreciate more than anything is the presentation was great. You could tell that you were in command of the room. For me, especially as a presenter, having spoken to students and other professionals, it's always that moment when you put the mic down and it's time for something else to happen, but the session isn't over. That's where you can tell whether or not things took hold. And it was good to see, even just through pictures, through still pictures, that people stayed and got busy.
Yep. People were busy. You can see from the pictures, people were busy, and they were intent.
Well, that's what I got from the pictures, and that's how you can tell. And so that's why I wanted to see if I could get just a first-hand knowledge from you and what that felt like, because that's what I saw. Like, when you see the intensity of the people looking like they're coloring, I was like, yo, they are loving every minute of it. Like, you just know. It reminded me. It honestly, it reminds me of every time I get to, go over the pencil. That's why I was like, this had to be awesome.
Yeah, it did have that feel. It had that exact feel. And the people some of the older people were competing heavier than the younger people. And I had, like I said, I had a healthy number of people both days that were over 40 in those sessions.
Well, see, that's what I'm talking about. That to me right there, that is the only reason why I'm still, I would say, in the game, if you want to call it. Because we're sitting right here with these 5-6 people, we know it's still there. We know the passion of just enjoying the sneakers and the culture is that powerful. It's that powerful. No hype, no how many Jordans can I keep? Just the pure in the park Saturday afternoon. Oh, what you rocking today? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy. It's crazy.
See, for me, it was good to do it because, I tell you guys all the time, and, every now and then the audience and the viewers hear me say it. I don't have a shoe in my closet that I can't tell a story for. The store I got it from sent it to me. You guys know this. I don't keep a shoe that I'm not going to have a good story for.
Absolutely.
So, as I go through the, 175 plus shoes that I have left, I can look at any one of them and pull them out and tell somebody a story about the shoe. Why I got it, for whatever reason, what store, whatever else happened that day. Some of the boxes I have in my closet for my shoes, I actually wrote down what I wore them to and why.
I never thought about it as storytelling until I started spending time with you guys.
So
like, I talk about it and people look at me funny, but I never realized.
The one thing that I didn't get a chance to tell was the story on how I came up on my 1986 Run DMC shell toes. I didn't get a chance to tell, which is crazy because it was kind of full circle, but like, a lunar eclipse, if you will, at the same time. Because the day that the 1986 Superstar is released, I was at NYU at a hip-hop education summit where a whole bunch of people were presenting different various education platforms tied to hip-hop. And, of course, social studies was one of those that, I was in a room presenting and networking with people about. This was the day that the 1986 shell toes came out. So I didn't get them. I missed them for that reason.
I remember that. I remember you did miss them. You was heated.
I was mad about it because I seen pictures. I was like, now they're going to go in the resale market. They're going to be ridiculous. I'm never going to get these. So fast forward a couple of months, literally almost 3 months later, the guy there in the red hat, Mr. D. Wells, OSD, comes down and, show, you remember this, we come down to party for my 40th birthday. And while we're at D's aunt's house, he hands me the box with the 1986 shell toes. I was like, get out of here. It was snow on the ground. But I put those joints on and wore them to where we hung out all night. Like, we went to this spot and we hung out from like 8:30 at night till about 5 in the morning. We went in that place and never left.
Jeez.
I had my shell toes on that whole time.
Wow.
Know it all.
Mm.
So, you know, and the tie-ins, you know, it was just, the energy behind the whole thing was just, it needed to happen because, you know, this past Wednesday was Jam Master Jay's 50th birthday. You know, it was just all these things that were aligned where this was the perfect story to be told in the perfect place, you know, at the right time. So, yeah, Jesse, it was a whole lot of factors there that made this a dope experience to do it.
Good, good. I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you and honored to be associated with you with it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So now I hope that the show can go on the road because I was getting hit up from people, different states, different countries even, asking me if this is going to come to where they're at. So that's the part that we need to see if Adidas is interested in telling the international story, you know, of the Superstar, because the Superstar spread the same way hip-hop spread, because anywhere that people wanted to adapt and look like us in New York, they wore what we wore. And that's how the Superstar, the Puma Clyde, and so many other shoes spread and got popular in other countries.
Mm-hmm.
So,
was there anybody from Adidas in attendance besides people in the store, or was there some corporate heads there?
A couple of Adidas folks actually came, and they actually, you know, stood in for one day for the experience too. They came up and told me after the fact. You know, I got a shout out to Nice Kicks. Nice Kicks was there. You know, Dunk 360. They were there. It was a whole lot of support in the building, and people came through. You know, so the whole thing was dope the entire weekend. So I got no complaints. I got us, you know, shout out to Yogi and Jeff and Camp and the guys over at Camp Grizzly. You know, they're the dudes that made it all happen. So that space is going to be open for, you know, this whole campaign that is the Superstar experience until February 16th, which is the day after All-Star. So anybody who's watching the show, if you're going to come into New York between now and February 16th, you know, you need to get over to 138 Worcester and see all the stuff that they got in there. They got, you know, different, you know, artistic representations of the Superstar. The whole Pharrell collection is on display. The NYC Rivalry Pack. You know, some really cool stuff is in there. And they have shell toes deconstructed, where you can see actually what they look like from outside to inside and everything. And there's that photo booth where I took the picture that D. Wells liked so much. It's an interactive photo booth where that picture was taken. So there's a lot in there for the Superstar experience, and it's going to be pretty dope for the next couple of weeks. And like I said, one day after All-Star, February 16th, it shuts down. So anybody coming to New York, give me a shout.
Nice. Nice, nice, nice.
Eastern Standard Time, D. Wells.
It is. It's about that time. It's like, oh, all right. Real quickly.
Yes, sir.
What sneaker is within an arm's reach of you?
What sneaker?
Arm's reach?
Yeah, arms. You can't get up. You have to just be able to bend down and grab it.
That's not fair. You see, they're all behind me.
Steve? Oh, I knew.
Wow.
That's why he gets hashtag show off. That's why he gets hashtag show off. That's why he gets hashtag show off.
I rocked him today. Rocked him today.
Do I get to get up, or do I have to just miss it?
No, you don't get to get up.
Hey,
my arms are too short. I'm not super awesome like you.
T-Squad, what do you have? What is that?
I got a box. That's what he
fluxes.
You got a box with what? It's empty. All right, Paper. What do you? Paper. What do you have near you?
I have no sneakers within.
You have no sneakers near you. Wow, look at Steve. Steve's got 2 Adidas. All right, Jesse. I'll allow you. Just get up real quick and grab the first pair of sneakers that are like nearby.
Yeah, take 2 paces. That's all you
Hey,
get is 2 paces.
does
I
this
get 2
count?
paces. So do I
2
do what
paces.
I wore today, or it doesn't matter?
No, it doesn't
That's
matter.
D, does
What's
this count?
nearby? Yeah, that counts. That's good. It's a
Grab a
slide.
shoe.
This was 2 paces from me.
Okay.
I'll go get something.
They kind of beat though.
They kind of beat. Well, because you're working. You're wearing them. You're working in them. All right, Jesse. What do we got there? Are those some Solomons? No. What are those? I can't see them.
The Coney Outlaws.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Does it count if you only have one shoe and you can't wear it anywhere?
Yeah. Why
No.
not?
It does.
One shoe and you can't wear it anywhere?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
All right. So I have to
I
say,
didn't see it, Peg. What is it?
you can't show it again.
I can't put it back up.
You can't put it back up right now.
Show it again.
Exactly. So I have to say, these ended up sitting out in the snow, and these are a lot nicer than I thought they'd be. So these are the Meek Mill gold joints.
Yo, I saw those. I saw them last week, and they're better than I thought they were.
They definitely are the Puma Suede Meek Mill gold Puma Suede.
Okay.
And actually, really, really, I haven't worn them yet because I've been wearing nothing but boots. But
okay.
I'm looking forward to wearing these. So shout outs to Puma for sending those over. So
I'd like to take back a night.
Okay.
That's a good look.
So
nice.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Nice.
So
it didn't come with any Meek Mill music, did it?
No, it didn't. But you know what? He's out of jail and he's trying to stay out of trouble. So.
Word. Steve, what are you doing?
Hey, they lifted his. He wasn't able to leave, but now he can leave.
Now he can leave the state.
This is why Steve gets hashtag show off.
Shut up, dude.
That's exactly why.
The world has you to thank for this one. I remember texting you. I'm like, should I? You were like, do not sleep, and so I got him.
Who, me or Sean?
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
Paper gave marching orders on that one. I was hesitating a little bit. I was like,
Those
I'm sorry.
man.
Devil made me hesitate for a minute.
You were totally shucking and jiving on that shit. I don't understand why.
That sneaker, the more and more I look at it, I'm like, damn, I need to.
Oh, it's flat out.
just
It's
go
flat out beautiful.
pull the
It's
trigger
flat
on a
out
pair on
beautiful.
the website.
Oh, and the back is 3M. Oh, it's flat out beautiful. Did
it go down yet?
What's up?
Is it marked down yet? That's the Packer one, right?
This shit was gone.
Yeah, bro, that was limited.
It was limited. Feel like such a hype beast saying that. It was limited.
It was limited.
There's
But
no
see,
such thing.
that suede is that old school nappy suede that's gonna like turn brown in a minute and it's gonna look glorious.
You said nappy suede.
Glorious.
It'll look glorious. You see, you're gonna get that bald toe that you cannot stop from happening. I love it.
Oh, I could stop that.
No, I don't want to stop it. I don't want to stop it.
Because you're a show off.
These gonna look like 1984 for real in a minute.
Yep, you're a show off.
So what I'm seeing right now is I just found this particular. They have these on the website.
That's the new one. The guidance is the like the mid range from the EQT.
Okay.
So that's the EQT guidance. This is the EQT support.
Support. Okay, I was just gonna ask.
Yeah.
I was like, I think it's the support is one I really remember.
Okay. Here's a little bit of a note for people.
Which would be this one.
Eventually, these shoes.
Ooh, that's nice right there. See, that's the color right there.
These shoes became the Adidas support, which then became the tiers of them went Adidas, Supernova, and Response. This is when it started. There were tiers of equipment. So you had EQT support, you had EQT guidance, which was not full-on support, but gave you a little more stability, and then you had EQT cushioning. those spidered off. Adidas has always kept those designations, but they became Adistar, Supernova, and Response.
This is why he's a show off.
Another kick story lesson.
That's nice right there. Yeah.
They have some nice ones up there.
They do.
They do. Not for no $130.
Why not?
No, the EQTs will come down. They'll come down fast.
I'm
They'll
a
come down
snob.
fast. But I tell you what.
I'm a snob and I don't pay $130
I tell you what.
for sneakers.
This to me.
I'm a snob and I don't pay $130 for sneakers.
This to me was every bit worth it over any Jordan or anything else I would buy right now. So that's why I paid.
Ain't nobody said nothing about no Jordan. Why you starting?
No. I said. Hey, everybody waits on everything but Jordans to go on sale, and I bought this one full price gladly.
Word.
Okay.
All right, so it's 12:05 Eastern Standard Time.
It is.
We're gonna wrap up episode number 335. Everything Nice is the name of this episode. We gotta thank Patrick Walsh for coming on from Villa, man. Just really throwing some gems and shedding some serious light on, some really dope Villa stuff going down in Philly and beyond. And we wish him the best, man, seriously, because it's not that often you get people on here that get to share all of that stuff the way it goes down and shed light on some other things that people don't know are going down that they wish they did know. So,
true.
Shout out to Patrick, man. Best of you. So are we back for episode 336 next week?
We are.
Unless
we get hit by another storm.
Well, we got an interesting
topic. Friday and Saturday.
We gotta come Saturday.
You get
we got an interesting show next week where we're gonna discuss a interesting topic and we're gonna teach people some more stuff. I'm pretty certain of. If my memory serves me correctly, and what Jesse's getting ready to hit people with next week.
The 1-2.
You might want to come back, everybody, and stay tuned. Or if you can't catch us live next week, make sure you hit the OSD archive by going to osdlive.com. Hit the talk show tab. All shows are archived there in audio and video format, and you'll see what you might miss next week from feature reporter Mr. JLR. BOS to PDX.
So it's been good. It's been fun. Thank you all for walking and talking with us. Man, episode 335 is about to be out. Make sure you come back and walk with us, talk with us next week. And in the meantime, between time, keep your laces tied tightly, your tongue loose, and walk good.
And it's a lifestyle. I think I'm an addict.
That's perfect, my
My friend's a combination between Best Buy and Night Town. For real.